So today, day after getting the car back, we are going to start. I don't know where we're going to start, but I think I'm going to leave it on this stand that Mr. Patton let me bring home. That kind of holds the car. So I believe we're going to leave it on there and maybe start with some of the interior, I believe. I know a lot of the interior has to go in first before anything else, because it's kind of a pain. So I think we're gonna do that. I might start by, we had some bolts and some of the threaded holes and whatnot, so we might go through that and pull some of them out, clean up some holes too. But yeah, we'll get started on that, and hopefully not have too many interruptions with the kids here. They're inside playing, and oldest is reading some books. So yeah, let's get started. Well, don't you just hate it when you have 3 or 4 weeks off to do any little thing to get caught up while you're waiting for something, and next thing you know, you lose your tools for one thing, but you also realize that there was simple stuff you should have had done, like drilling out rivets in a floor pan so it was ready to go when you get your race car back, start putting it together. So now I get to drill out some rivets that I forgot to get those bad boys drilled out. So we're gonna take a few seconds and get those drilled out before we start putting some cockpit in. I'm not really sure. I've done this in years past. I know a lot of people do this. I never have really good luck with keeping this stuff on off. It's just the type of stuff that I'm using, or what. But a lot of people say that you should have a non-slip surface in your cockpit, and this is my lower pan for in the cockpit, and for some reason I put it on every year and it seems like it never stays. It is just something that I think I found in a store somewhere that they come in strips. They're probably like ladders or steps or something like that, but I guess I've never done this before outside of the car. Usually it's standing on your head, trying to lean down in the cockpit to put this in, so maybe this will help. And this is my second year with a heater in the garage, so maybe getting it really clean, having it outside the car, being able to make sure it's really clean, put it down, should hopefully help. So let's see what we can do here. Maybe it'll stick. And if anyone has any better suggestions or a better product they know that works a lot better, like I said, we just stick down a couple strips for kind of getting in and out when it's wet. And basically these are all they are, just some non-skid, basically almost like a duct tape that has sandpaper on the back of it. basically. So that's basically what we use, or I've used anyway. Can't remember where I got it at, but it is just something that, like I said, it's supposed to help keep from being so slippery when you get in and out of the car, and you know, when you got mud on your shoes, it gives you a little bit of traction. I know it, I think I've heard some people say it helps keep your foot planted inside when you're driving. I don't know, I guess I don't pay attention to that, so to know whether I need to have it planted or not. So every year we just try and reapply it and kind of see what happens, I guess. So and it is good warm here. I think I got it about 65 degrees in here, so it's not cold metal or anything like that. I know in the past I've stuck it on, it's been 20-30 degrees out here, whatever I can be able to get it to for temp out here. So yeah, so we'll just stick a couple pieces on here, see if we can get it to help keep us from sliding around a little bit, and we'll hopefully start putting this in. So one of the cool tools that I work with when I do any sort of sheet metal stuff is a little bit out of the ordinary for what you look for in a sheet metal tool, is this little guy here. It's a Black & Decker rotary power cutter. I believe I looked up some literature on this. It's an older tool. It was used for cutting linoleum and I think like carpet. Not for sure on that. This thing works amazing for cutting sheet metal, and I'll give you a quick demonstration here. I got to cut a panel to fit in, so I'm going to have my assistant come help me. She's been eager to get on YouTube, so I'm going to have her take a hold of it. So go ahead and hold that. Just go ahead and look over, have it shine down here, please.
Oh, shut up.
Over here. Just point it down like that. And don't say anything, okay?
Okay. It's still off.
Don't say anything. Makes quick work, and it doesn't really look at this piece here. It makes a good clean cut, and doesn't have any waste, no pigtails, anything like that laying around. And then you can back it up and everything like that. It's got a serrated wheel, so it's a pretty cool tool. I enjoy it. I learned about that from a buddy of mine that races. His grandpa found it at an auction or something like that, and they tried using it on aluminum, and it works pretty good. I will say the only thing that on mine, I don't know if it is common with these or what, the little serrated wheels kind of get boogery with some of the aluminum and the plastic coating on the aluminum, and also like mine, the screws getting pretty worn out, and also gets loose once in a while, so when you go back and forth a lot of times it needs to be retightened. So well, we got a little bit done tonight. Sorry I didn't videotape much of it. I didn't have a good place to set you up, and just me tonight working. So here's kind of a look at what I got done. I got some of the cockpit put in. This is kind of one of my straight edges here. You might notice the side panel and the back panel and the bottom panel are reused from last year. They didn't they weren't really in bad shape. So just clean them up a little bit, Windex them. They'll be tucked kind of out of sight for the most part. Panel in here for the shifter and whatnot, it's brand new. Kind of the switch panel up, filler panel there is going to be brand new as well. So, and the rest of them will be kind of used. I do have one sitting up there I got to clean up a little bit. It's got my pedal and MSD rev limiter. So yeah, so we got a little bit done, installed a couple panels, about tipped the thing over. Well, I actually did tip the thing over. Luckily enough, it didn't go too far, but the stand we got here has only got one wheel in the front right now. So it makes it kind of a tricycle, and it's a little heavy on one side with the cockpit one now. So yeah, so catastrophe there was avoided. So just wanted to give you a little update so far what I got going, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. And like always, onwards and upwards. Thank you. Well, day 2 status on putting the old hot rod back together. I got some help today. Adam down there, he's finishing putting in our pull bar. We got the rear end kind of setting in there, and finished up the cockpit panels. So a few pieces in here, but we got front side, everything tidied up. So as soon as we get rear end in it, front suspension, we'll be able to put this baby on the ground, and hopefully we'll be able to keep on chugging away. Well, tonight's just kind of a slow night. We're gonna get some brake lines installed, and I personally run the plastic lines. They're definitely a lot easier to route. Take probably a third of the time of steel lines. I've done steel lines in the past. I have mixed emotions with the steel lines. I do feel like they probably are a little bit safer with the amount of wrecks and stuff we get into, but I'm not good at flaring them, and you can add a lot more connections if you try and do like sticks, and you got to hand bend them, and you can bend them wrong and stuff like that. This plastic, you basically just route it out. It's super flexible, easy to route. It's crazy because these connections, they seem kind of rinky-dink, but I've never had one leak. I know some people are dead set against them. I've heard good and bad each way. I did try a kit one time that had the quick connect wheels for the connections, and on those I know you definitely have to be very precise with your cutting, and I just use a standard like razor blade for cutting them, and if you don't cut them perfectly square, they will I know it's not times lock right, but I spend the extra minute or two per connection. Just use the ones that you actually tighten by hand and some wrenches. Just makes it a little bit more time consuming on the plastic lines, but still way faster than the steel lines, in my opinion. I can't honestly say that that I didn't trust the steel lines or anything, but they're just a lot more finicky, and about the time you make a good flare, you forget the nut or something crazy like that. I've done that before, and then you got cut it all apart. So plastic's what I run. I've run for years. I usually like to run them for maybe a couple years, and then at that point I'll refresh them with the heat and some of the chemicals that get sprayed on them, and being a little bit maybe the UV light when we're out at the racetrack and stuff like that. We you know, they do get dried out and can get brittle. So haven't had one ever leak. The other nice thing, if you can zoom in on this, it's kind of a clear color. You can see my finger through there. But the nice thing too is if you do got air in the system, you can kind of tell where it's at, or if it's going out, and you can also tell if you still got bubbles in the system. So that also is a nice thing that we play around with. I just started on the front tonight, kind of a low-key night. Got the, it's buffering right now, but I got the races on out in New Mexico, watching them. So yeah, so just kind of low night, get a few things done. Sorry this isn't usually a nightly deal as far as posting, but just kind of following along on kind of the update and process of how I put a race car together. Not saying that's right or wrong. Everyone has their own opinions and own beliefs on how things go. Just how I do it, and yeah, this is kind of how I do on my brake lines. I'll probably follow up here a little bit later, maybe tomorrow night with the rear brakes, and kind of get stuff put together. And before too long, we'll have to get this off the stand here of the cart, partially because of where it's mounted. Uses one of the front suspension mounts, so we have to unpin those, and at that point it'll be a lot easier to get set on the ground and easier to work on. So for now, it's nice having it in the air. So, well, you missed the good part, but we got this baby up in the air. Me and my main man Adam here, we got her on a jack stand, or a bumper jack on one end, 3 straps, and an engine picker on the other. Now time to put this baby back on the ground and keep working.